Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Fast Track. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. Today's episode is with our friend Bruce Tannas. Bruce was born in High River, Alberta. I love it out there. He has been married to his beautiful wife for almost 30 years. They have a growing family with two amazing kids. Bruce's family have been extremely supportive of his personal entrepreneurial journey, which has been extraordinarily helpful over the years. Besides his loved ones, Bruce is most passionate about helping other entrepreneurs succeed. He spent the last 10 years helping them through his work at Community Futures and then leading a team at Alberta Tourism. Now he looks forward to helping them all through his own project, Connect for Commerce. He's going to tell you a little bit more about that today. I look forward to that. Friends, you'll find his full bio attached. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Catherine. I appreciate being on today.
Oh, I'm really glad you're here. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Are you ready for the questions we sent you?
Sure.
Excellent. Okay. The first one being, why do you do what you do?
Well, that's a good question. So I've been a serial entrepreneur over the years. I started my first business when I was in high school, and I had businesses through college and then post-college and that sort of thing. So I've had the opportunity to develop my entrepreneurial skills, but a lot of that came from the School of Hard Knocks. Despite having a business diploma and all that kind of stuff, I found it incredibly frustrating back in the day that most of my professors had no actual real life experience in business. And even in talking with some professors now, they're academics at the end of the day. And so getting that information about being an entrepreneur and how to do that well is sometimes a bit hard to come by. And unfortunately, in entrepreneurism, when you make a mistake, you have to get out your wallet.
Yeah.
And there are lots of times. There's lots of times I had to get out my wallet, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So when I transitioned into business coaching and lending for Community Futures, I could see this happen a lot. And I became very passionate of helping entrepreneurs succeed and just try and avoid some of the worst mistakes that sometimes I've made and sometimes I've seen others make by giving, a little bit of practical advice and tips and connecting people together who have some expertise. People like you, Catherine, you have a wealth of HR experience, right? So I've become very passionate about sharing that experience and working with entrepreneurs, particularly in the last 10 years has been mostly startups, but also early stage growth companies. And also, now in the last few years, helping some entrepreneurs, see reap the rewards of all their years as an entrepreneur and sell their business and retire. So that's kind of my motivation behind what I've been doing for the last 10 years and also for Connect for Commerce.
Well, I've known you for a very long time, Bruce, and you've always had the servant's heart in helping as many people as you can. I know you help entrepreneurs, but you certainly have a wide swath with everyone.
Well, thanks.
That's awesome.
I come from a family that believes that, service is important. And I was a Rotarian. I've lapsed. When I went to the government, I couldn't find a Rotary group that met at a time I could squeeze into my family, but it's on my radar. Once I get established again in business, I'd love to get back, because that organization is really, service above self, as you know. You're a Rotarian. I think is a super important organization, and it really does kind of fit my philosophy.
So. No, I agree with you. Well, out in Cochrane, there's one of the most powerful Rotary clubs out there.
That was the one I would belong to before I went to work with government. And I saw you interview Martin Purnell the other day.
Yeah.
That was great. Martin's fantastic. So
amazing human. That's awesome. Okay. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have for your 3 things.
All right. So 3 things to take away from today. So Connect for Commerce, for those who are new to Connect for Commerce, we're working on becoming the preferred marketplace for business in Canada. That's our aspirational and our vision. As part of that, we're trying to connect entrepreneurs with the things that they need, basically, right? And part of that is expertise, people like yourself or whoever it is that they might need. If they're needing to lease or buy a space, or they want to buy a business, or they need to sell some inventory or whatever. So the vision behind Connect for Commerce is to help entrepreneurs, and we're providing a bit of advice through our blog and through connecting with those experts. So that's the number one takeaway in terms of what we're kind of about. And right now, particularly, I think it's very relevant. I don't know if you've seen the statistic, but the Canadian Federation for Independent Businesses said that 1 in 6, this is a scary number, 1 in 6 business owners are considering closing their business at the moment.
Oh,
So that would be about 26,000 businesses in Alberta. That's just my back of the envelope calculation based on how many businesses there are and that kind of thing. So I think if we can be a help to those businesses in terms of mitigating their exit by selling off their inventory, or if there's a viable business still selling their business, if we can be of help to those entrepreneurs, that's great. If we can be help to people who maybe have been laid off and thinking about going into business, because there still is a business opportunity here in Alberta and certainly in Canada for the longer run. If we can help with those entrepreneurs that need to exit and bring in new ones, that will eventually build the economy.
mm-hmm.
So that's one reason why I think we're doing what we're doing. But also, in terms of helping entrepreneurs, there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are on the retirement phase of their life. Business Development Bank of Canada recently did a survey and look at the demographics, and most of our business owners are actually within 10 years or less of retirement.
Wow.
So they may not be retiring this year or next year, but there's need to start to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're providing some articles and advice on that kind of stuff to help them think about it. And of course, the service itself, we offer the listing for them to sell their businesses. On the other side, I read some in a business publication that there are quite a few millennials that would consider moving out of their corporate jobs and into small business. So if I can, through Connect for Commerce, help them together, that's that connector role that comes naturally for somebody who's been in economic development for the last 10 years. That is one of the strongest roles. So that's we're looking to help entrepreneurs. The second one, as I'm starting to say, is to make connections. We want to work through Connect for Commerce to make connections, whether that's from somebody who wants to retire with somebody who would like to find a good quality business. And if we can connect them and provide them a little advice on both sides of that transaction, in terms of on our site, we have some information on how to sell a business, how to think about, getting ready to sell a business and all those kinds of things. Because selling a business is not like selling your house. You need to think well in advance. And actually, I just put up on our site an interview I did with a gentleman from Airdrie, Sid Vandermeer. Do you know Sid? I know him. Yeah. He's a dynamic gentleman who owned a company out of Airdrie and has retired. And he retired well because he thought well in advance of his retirement what he needed to do to position his business for the best possible
Mhm.
sale. So we have some information like that on there. And if you're a millennial and you're thinking of going into business, you might not be thinking during this pandemic, but getting into business should be more of a longer journey than buying a house or buying a car. You should think well in advance about that, and so we have some information on there as well. So
Excellent.
we're making those connections, whether that be for buying or selling a business, or buying and selling inventory and that kind of stuff. When I worked as a lender, I would talk to retailers, and I'm a former retailer as well. I had retail stores in Banff and Jasper. Sometimes you have retail inventory that you can't sell in your store. There's just no way
Mhm.
it sells. And it may not be bad inventory. It's just people have expectations of what was in your store. And I used to say markdowns is the price of making a mistake. In other words, get out your wallet.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't even sell it even if you mark it down, and whether another retailer might be able to sell it easily. So
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
another connection we might be able to make, is between retailers or what have you with inventory.
Good.
So I guess the last point I'd love to make is that we're just getting started. So Connect for Commerce is at the end of the day, we're a small business too. And we're just getting started. We launched 2.5 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah. So I wrote an article right off the bat. I'm like, crazy to start a business during a pandemic, because
Perfect.
I wondered if I was.
Perfect timing.
I think my wife thought I was crazy too, by the way. But it turns out I did a little reading for that article, and it turns out it's not such a bad thing to start during a downturn, because you learn to be plucky, and you learn to
Mhm.
roll with the punches and stuff early on. And the reception we've got from folks like you and others has been great. And we're slowly building momentum, and hopefully we can get more people to use the site, to list on our site. Right now our listings are free. So
Oh, great.
yeah, well, when you look at building a site like this, you have to build up your listings in order to build your audience. And it's really the chicken or the egg problem, right?
Yeah.
You need listings in order to have audience, and you need to have audience in order to have listings. So the only way
Mhm.
you can solve the problem is to ask people for listings and give it away free for a while until we get a lot of people on there. So that's the business model at the moment, is give it away free.
And what about are you looking for anybody to put advertisements up alongside it all? And what does that look like?
Yeah, we've got some banner ads, and so far I want to put a shout out to Rocky View County and David Kalinchuk. He believed in us even before I opened. He was the first guy to sign a check and say, "Hey, Bruce, we'll sign on." So Rocky View is on there, and I have a few others that
Mhm.
have signed on as well to paid advertisement at this point. But our
Awesome.
basic listings are free, and so I encourage your viewers to do that. And if you want to help me out a little bit, then pick a premium thing, and I'll get a little bit of money out of the deal too.
That's awesome. And now, what if there's an organization out there that wants to be exclusive in the ad? Is that going to be possible? Like the only lawyers or the only accountants?
For an area, I can do that for sure.
Mhm.
But I might be able to do that like for a period of time, because if you're the only ones asking,
Yeah.
it's
So
easy
far.
so far. Well, and we'll get into the vision in a minute, but yeah, I mean, like you say, it's early days. I think we're getting the momentum, and if somebody wants to help a small business and be on the ground floor as we move up, that would be awesome. So
I'm proud of you, Bruce. That's awesome. Great. And what about your new frontier? What does your crystal ball look like?
Well, so the idea behind this is to be Canada's preferred marketplace for business, right? That's the vision. So right now I'm rolling out Connect for Commerce here in Alberta. I mean, we are open, and I actually have a couple listings out of Ontario. The Retail Council of Canada picked up one of my articles and they ran it. And so suddenly I've got a few listings out of Toronto, but yeah, the idea is I'm going to roll from Alberta first and then into BC and out into Ontario and then the rest of the country. So a year from now, I'm hoping that we'll be talking about Connect for Commerce across Canada, which is
awesome.
Great. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I've got really good folks that I'm working with here. So far, I've actually found quite a few people in the Calgary area that are quite, excellent people. And it's amazing, you can have a homegrown business, really can, and it can be, pretty world class too. I think, our site, you look at it, looks real professional, and that isn't my doing. That's people I hired, and they're from this area, so it's great. And the PR person I hired is from Cochrane, and so I'm super happy to be able to provide jobs to Albertans, and and I think that we can grow this from Alberta and create employment here, and go out from there. And us Canadians, we need to start to be part of the internet and the World Wide Web a little more than we are, if we're going to compete in the long run. So
I agree, 100%. We must be global thinking.
And there's no reason why we can't.
I agree.
I look at Calgary. There's so many educated people, young, vibrant people. Why can't we compete? Whether that be on the internet or high technology. Lots of people with good ideas, good educations, good backgrounds. We just need to give them a chance, a little bit of capital, a little bit of our home market, being early adopters in our home businesses, as opposed to just going to the big American giants all the time.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed. Thank you so much for joining us, Bruce. I really appreciate your time. I congratulate you on starting a business inside of this lockdown. You know what? This is the time. You're planting the seeds, and as soon as this lockdown lifts, you're going to need a big team.
I hope so. Thanks. And I'll certainly look to you to help me recruit it. That's for sure.
Oh, it won't be hard. There's some good people looking for jobs. That's for sure. Just tell a few friends.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Everyone, Bruce Tannas, check out the great work that they're doing and spread the word. Let everybody know it's free listings right now. What a great opportunity, and what a great Albertan to do this for us. Thank you for joining us on Cat's Track. We'll see you next time.